Hello, everyone. I'm Brad Ellis. I'm joined by Ben Moore, Ian Hink, Michael Huber.
Hello.
And recently, I got to play a game we're all very excited for. A little game from a little-known developer that we like around here.
Up-and-comer.
Yeah, you might have heard him. From Software. Their new title, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
I like that you got the full title in there.
Good
nice
stuff.
Yeah, it's easy to skip over a lot,
Yep.
like Horizon Zero Dawn. So I went to a preview event in LA, here in LA at Yamashiro, which was like a big, like super intense, fancy, like Japanese restaurant. I felt like I was in the game pretty much there. And there was a presentation where the devs were communicating live via the powers of the internet and doing a Q&A and talking about the game. And I got to play the first 3 hours of the game.
Nice.
So I will be talking about everything I've played. There is some story stuff going on. So if you don't want to know anything about this game, heads up.
Back out now. Back out right now.
Time
Close
to
the
leave.
browser.
Yeah, it's like all three of us get up and leave.
Yeah. The story of this game, well, compared to the Souls games you usually get the intro cutscene. You get a brief idea of kind of what you're doing, and it's just kind of like, you go. Sekiro is a little more focused immediately off the bat. You play as a samurai, or a ninja, serving a young lord. The game also starts off with a tutorial area, kind of like the Undead Asylum, but much more fleshed out. So your young lord is being held captive in a shed or something like that, and you're tasked to go save him. You have no weapons or anything like that. Kind of teaches you the mechanics as you go along through the level. So you start off with stealth. Stealth is a big part of this game. It is not a stealth game by any means. This is not Dishonored. You're not trying to get ghost runs. Like, you get seen, you're going to fight. This is how it goes down.
Okay.
You go in there, you get your sword, and it's real good, guys. It's real good. So the game teaches you slowly how to play the game as you're going through the tutorial level. Not too long. It took me probably 10 or 15 minutes to get through it, but it gives you a nice grasp of going through it.
I don't mean to jump ahead, but
Yes.
I'm really, really curious about stealth. And it's like, were there areas later on where you could just stealth through an entire area, and maybe you just have to only fight one enemy?
A lot of areas there's grass you can crawl through, or stealth kind of through, so they won't see you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're in grass, it's really hard for a lot of the enemies to see you. You could skip a lot of enemies a lot of times. I'm going to get into that when we talk about the world, actually, of the game.
Okay.
When you stealth, is there an instant kill that you can...
Yes, you can do. I will get into all
I
of
love
that
it.
stuff.
I
Great.
love
Don't worry, I'm going to get
stealth.
into all of that. So pretty much the game, or the tutorial, ends with you with your young lord having a showdown with some samurai who wants your young lord. Your young lord has a bloodline that people want. A super specific bloodline. I'll get back to what it's called.
Give me the blood.
Yeah, I'll talk about what the bloodline is later on. But anyways, you lose your arm against this foe in combat.
Oh.
And you wake up later on, which essentially is the game's hub.
Cool.
So it's a shrine. You're woken up by some guy carving wood Buddhas. He has a ton of statues around him, and he's just mumbling. And you have this prosthetic arm, and he's the one that fashioned your prosthetic arm for you. So later on in the game, you will get prosthetic upgrades that you'll find throughout the world. For instance, the first one you get is something that throws little shurikens. But the shurikens, not that great, I realize, because you shoot them at a dude, they just kind of block it most of the time. But there's also...
Sending a message.
Yeah.
Could you combo it into your melee attacks? Pop, cha, 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 pop.
Yeah.
Can you use it as a distraction?
Sure, you can use distractions. There are distraction items also in the game, like bottles from Last of Us. There's stuff you could throw to get someone's attention somewhere else like that.
Can you do the Great Souls thing of peeling off a group one at a time to maybe make a group more manageable?
Kind of, yeah. So I feel like the game, you can definitely break an aggro range with people, but this game is much more dangerous in the sense if you get caught fighting multiple enemies, it's much harder to handle. You can do it, but you don't really want to try to engage it. There's weaker enemies, of course, you could just kind of one-shot. There's dogs in the game, you kill them in one hit no matter what. There's little scrubby samurais that no match for you, stuff like that. But I would really advise against fighting multiple foes at a time, but thankfully the game gives you tools to deal with this, and the most standout feature for this is the grappling hook of this game. The grappling hook, so the levels that you would expect from software game. First of all, the design of this game is much more akin to Dark Souls 1. So areas are connected.
Okay.
So for instance, the area I start off was in the shrine. it would connect kind of the next levels, and I would just kind of go through that path.
That's the best thing you could have said.
Yeah. So it's not like you're warping to stages like Demon Souls or something like that. It's pretty much like Dark Souls 1, except you can warp between the bonfires of this game anytime you want. So pretty much you go through a level, you find new items. I did not find any new weapons. You have your katana, but that seems like the main weapon of the game. So if you're someone who likes to experiment with different kind of like main weapons, you're going to be kind of out of luck. But this is made up for in the ninja tools, which are on your arm, which kind of essentially work as trick weapons. So like I said, one of the other ones I had was like throwing ninja stars. Later on, I got a big like axe attachment to my arm that I could use specifically for dudes with shields. So there's guys with shields, they're hard to fight. But if you use this tool, it like breaks their shield. There's also one I got, which was like a flamethrower.
What?
Yeah, there was like a flame attachment. Like,
Awesome.
We jumped from an axe to a flamethrower.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah, you'll also be able to get upgrades for these. I don't think I found any necessarily in my playtime, but there are upgrades.
I'm kind of surprised that you have so many different tools in just the first 3 hours. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder how many
I'm
different
sure I missed
tools
stuff, too.
will
So
be
you
in
have
the
to
game.
find these upgrades.
I
you
found
don't.
all the upgrades that I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense in the world of the story?
Yes, it does, because they're
okay.
attachments to your arm. Then the guy, like, you bring them to the guy who made your arm, and he you see him like
okay.
attach them to you, like put them on your arm or something like
Okay,
that.
okay.
I want to dial back real quick to the hub that I was talking about earlier. So I ran into 2 NPCs there. There was a mysterious woman who serves a master. She was a doctor, and she would not tell me any more really about her, what she's doing or who she's serving like that. But one of the most interesting aspects of this also was there was a samurai there who cannot die.
Whoa.
And upon talking to him, he asks you to fight him to see if you could kill him, pretty much. You kind of kill him, but he like comes back to life, and he's like, God dang, I couldn't die. This poor soul serves as your tutorial anytime you want to practice abilities. So you learn new abilities
How
throughout the game.
cruel.
Genius.
You learn new abilities throughout the game, and he's like, hey, you want to practice techniques with me? So, like, if you want to practice parrying or something like that, or you want to practice sword slash with him, you could practice them with him anytime you want.
That's smart,
to make sure you
yeah.
really get a good, like, grasp of what you're getting. Because I got quite a few new abilities in just my playthrough. For instance, one of the abilities I got was... I'm going to actually save that for when I talk about more about combat.
Can you
Jeez.
can you pull enemies towards you
Yeah.
with the grapple?
Oh, the
can?
grapple? No, I don't think
Oh.
you could. So like with the grappling hook, you cannot just grapple on anything like Batman.
Oh,
something like
okay,
that.
okay.
So like when you're playing, you see very distinct like green markers letting you know you can grapple here.
Got it.
Yeah.
But you can chain this grapple together so you can go like quickly from kind of like around like that.
Huber's thinking about Nero. I respect it. Yeah.
Yeah. At this woman, the doctor I was talking about, her name's Emma. You can also give her gourd seeds to upgrade, which essentially is your Estus flask in this game. So I started with 1. And you know how many I had by the time I finished playing?
2.
1. I did not find any. There could be some out there, but I did not find any to increase my Estus flask. And I'll tell you, having 1 is very hard.
I bet.
So you have 1 heal
I
at
had
the beginning
1.
of this game.
There are items throughout this game that can help you. There's essentially life gems from like
Okay.
Dark Souls 2 that you
Or
could
grass.
pop, something like that. Yeah, that'll just heal you kind of over time. Not a ton, but there are some that you could find. There's also interesting items that give you like defense buffs for a while. You could crack ones that give you like attack buffs or something like that. So I was fighting real powerful enemy. You just like crack something, and you have like a blue or kind of like shootout, so you know you have this effect active.
Were those items really rare, or did you feel like you could pop it any time and it's not a big deal?
Not anytime. Like I used a few. I didn't feel like I had an overabundance of items at any time.
But like just enough.
Kind of, yeah. To like experiment, I would say like yeah, if I wanted.
Are you switching between these items as you're in the middle of combat?
So what you could do is you could put it on essentially a quick bar. That
Gotcha.
you kind of have in the past games. You could just kind of push left or right on the D-pad.
Sure.
Healing, like using your item is up on the touch or the D-pad, which is a little like strange to get used to.
Oh, yeah,
Just
it's
when we're used to
usually
using
square.
square or triangle or something like that. So another thing we got to get used to. But it's all good. So leveling up also is different in this game compared to Souls games. No more you're leveling up, you're getting your stats screen. There's like no more of that. So everything is pretty much done by leveling up and getting skill points. So there's experience in this game and also money. That's very different for these games instead of one currency. Experience points, essentially you have a bar you could fill up to get 1 skill point. So you fill it up, you get a skill point. You fill it up, you get 2 skill points. You use these to spend on new abilities and like a skill tree kind of thing. So, for instance, I got a new combat move. It was like a spin attack to fight multiple foes like that at a time. It cost like 2 skill points or something like that. But some of these abilities, you can only equip a certain amount. Okay. So I had to choose like one combat technique, one certain type of technique. Then I had to like, if you want to change like a different attack technique, you got to switch it out. But there are passive buffs you can get that are just permanent kind of thing like that.
Like more health, more stealth?
I didn't get any, but there are.
Okay.
So when you say it is like a skill tree, are you going down different paths?
So it's like, yes, but it's going sideways kind of thing like
I see.
that.
So like, let's say you're going down a top path. Mm-hmm. Are the abilities getting more expensive the deeper you go in that direction?
Like first one's like maybe 1 skill point.
I see.
Then it goes to 2 skill points.
So like
that.
what are those different branches?
So there's trees or paths focused on your shinobi arm. There's like one focused on just kind of combat, and I think there's one focused on stealth if I remember correctly. So you can kind of like choose throughout the game to go like your way, your build, I guess, if you want. I can't remember if you can respec anytime you want. I'm not exactly sure on that.
Do you get that skill tree that gives you different attacks? Makes me a little bit nervous because like in Souls, you have your attacks, heavy, medium, fast, slow, and it changes by the weapon that you have.
Right.
Does this kind of feel like you're changing out just moves as though you had a different kind of weapon? Do you always have the same sword?
So from what I don't know if there's more than main weapons. The weapon switching kind of thing is done through the shinobi arms that you get, but like I only had a katana the whole time, and I think that's kind of how the game works mostly.
But did switching abilities kind of feel like I got a different sword and I do this with this sword?
A brief change in your arsenal can change combat dramatically.
Is there any chance to try these new abilities out before you commit the points, or at least see a demonstration of them?
Yeah, like it tells you like what it does. I think it plays a little video. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Dude, and hopefully there's like a trick dagger, so then you can like dual wield dagger and sword or something.
The arm just goes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you could have like the axe kind of act like a secondary weapon.
Because I've played for like an hour at a previous event, like I don't know, 6 months ago, whatever. And the sword is fast enough that it's very fast. Not really a problem.
Nice.
It meets the Ian speed requirement.
It meets the speed requirement. It meets the speed requirement.
We'll talk about combat a bit and more penalties for death and all that. There is no stamina meter anymore. It's gone.
Oh.
No more. So you can dodge, you can go bananas all you want.
What? We are in a brave new world.
I'm just about passed out right now. I think I'm gonna fall over.
You could be aggressive if you want. But
I'm like shocked. I'm shocked right now.
Shook. I don't even remember that. Was there? I thought there was stamina when we played it.
Maybe there's
before.
not.
Wow.
But
did this bother you? Tell me your thoughts. How are you feeling right now?
The game is designed around not having the idea of a stamina bar.
Okay.
They like didn't have a dodge button before.
Because the big thing about this game is the poise break mechanics.
Right.
And death blows. Yeah. So essentially, if you don't know, when you battle an enemy and when you're fighting them, each of you has like a specific bar. So like, let's say above Ben, there was a health bar. There's also a poise kind of bar. So you can wear down the health also, but by attacking them and getting perfect like parries and stuff like that, it builds up their meter. And when it breaks, you break their meter, they're open to like what essentially is a visceral attack, but it's called a death blow in this game. And this is
it always a death?
What?
The death blow? Does it always kill him?
No. Sometimes enemies have multiple like bars you have to get rid of to kill them. Like I fought enemies that I had to do 2 death blows on to get.
Okay.
And like bosses, right? Unless they change it, bosses like they don't ever go to phase 2 until you poise break them into phase 2.
Jeez.
Like I was fighting a boss in our playthrough a long time ago that like I was fighting it for a long time and I figured the pattern out so I could dodge enough and I was doing health damage, but then at a certain point it just stopped.
Yeah.
And never advanced to the next thing because I wasn't poise breaking and I was just dodging and then hitting it. Yeah, so you can't play this game like Souls.
Yeah, you break them, you essentially do a rad finishing kill on them or move like that. But enemies can also do this to you. So if you attack them, they could parry you. So sometimes you don't want to go completely
Can you parry back? Can you be like parry, like ping pong?
You could...
like if they parry you...
Like if you...
Do you get a chance to then...
If they attack
parry their...
parry?
Yeah, counter parry?
Like if you also...
Is that how parries work?
If you parry someone too, like a quick like parry, you get like a free hit in. You can get like a quick hit in or something like that. And this is not like, when you parry someone, it's not like a long window of opportunity, kind of like what you're used to a Souls game where they just like kind of stumble back and you're free to go for them. This is like boom, 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 boom. This game is extremely fast. Extremely fast. So Ian, you will like that because the speed, it's probably their fastest game.
I'm bad at parrying.
It's probably their fastest game. Yeah.
Oh, man.
The parrying is a huge mechanic of this game. This is a huge thing you're going to have to master playing through this game.
That's so crazy thinking like how fast it is, you know? Like going from Souls to Bloodborne was like so fast.
Yeah.
And this is like that extreme.
Yeah.
Like way faster than Bloodborne.
Don't they call it like posture?
Yeah, it's like a posture poison kind of thing. If you're not feeling confident always on attack or something like that, you can dodge. You can get out of the way. You can jump if you want.
Jumping is crazy.
Or you could just block too for a bit. But your meter will build up. And if it builds up, they could really mess you up.
I think I'm most excited for the Sekiro YouTube Deathblow compilations.
All
with,
Deathblows.
you know, your favorite new metal band.
And let me tell you, they're real cool.
Yeah,
They're really cool.
I bet. That's going to be awesome.
Did you rip any demons' hearts out?
No. So
are there demons?
let me tell you this. For most of the time I played, I was fighting normal humans.
Humanoids.
The worst kind
There
of demon.
was two specific enemies I ran into. There's this one mini boss that you had to kill to progress. There's no fog gate that you're necessarily used to, like going into a boss room. You're like, oh, boss room, something like that. There was this like ogre guy. They've shown him in like trailers before.
Yeah.
The powerbomb dude?
The powerbomb dude.
Nice.
The powerbomb dude.
Yeah, he like in the first trailer he like picks you up and
Okay.
like
I think I know what you're talking
He's the
about.
guy with like the wood thing around him.
Yeah, so I was fighting these two guys. He was chained up. Then he starts going crazy, just making all these crazy sounds, going like, "Raw!" Then I was fighting these two guys, and he just busts out, and he charges you, dude. And he has enemies in this game have certain attacks you cannot block. You have to dodge them, and this is made clear with a flashing like red symbol.
Ugh.
So you have to know, like, it lets you know that like you got to move out of this. You cannot block this. You got to get out of there or do some sort of other technique. I'll talk about after this fight to deal with them.
When you say you cannot block, does that mean you can also not
So,
parry
like,
them?
for instance, this guy was grabbing me. He power bombed me, man. Then he threw me behind him in the air, and he threw me off a cliff, and I died.
That's great. That's great.
Like, whoa. And I'm talking like, if this guy grabbed me, like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like, you're dead.
How far back did you have to go when he killed you?
Oh, so when I was near him, it was pretty close. I had to take care of like 2 or 3 trash mobs
okay.
before him, but they were letting me know like I was close to this guy.
Got it.
So this guy killed me, I'm not even kidding, like 12 times.
Wow.
I fought this guy over and over and
To
over.
put that into context for the viewers,
over.
like 12 Brad times is like 40
But
or
then
50 regular us times.
You finally just like, it clicks with you and you get the timing perfectly, then it's like, you're fine. But for this instance, for this guy, I was just slashing him and slashing him and slashing him. His health was just massive health, dude. Like doing anything, and I just had to keep beating him down to like get him close to breaking. But my flamethrower, I tried it out on him, and he was weak to it. Oh. And he was just like freaking out. I was like, oh, sweet. So I get a quick attack of opportunity.
It's super effective.
It's super effective, but then he just breaks out and powerbomb me again. Something I forgot to mention about the arms is your ninja tools is you require a certain like a currency, I guess, for lack of a better word, to use it. So you need to find items to use it, like ammo almost. So you can get them from killing guys, you can find them throughout the world, or you could buy them with money. So I wasn't like loaded with these either, by the way. Like I had to spend money. I had to like really think about using this arm at the time. But eventually I killed the guy and I unlocked the new area, and it's extremely satisfying killing this guy. I felt like a boss, which is essentially a mini boss.
So you needed ammo for the flamethrower
Yes,
that you could
you
buy?
have to use like
Okay.
this specific, like, I forgot what it's called. I have it written down somewhere. Spirit emblems.
Oh, okay.
So you need these to use your tool pretty much.
So it's like mana kind of, or
Kind of,
charges?
yeah.
And when you died and had used it already, were those resources gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
From software.
Yeah. for
Speaking
sure.
of death.
Not messing around.
Speaking of death, like in the name of the game, death is a big part of this game. So when you die, you can resurrect and come back at least once. So, for instance, this guy powerbombed me. I was dead, laying there. You can either resurrect or stay dead if you want. And I would wait for them to de-aggro or something like that. Then I could get an attack of opportunity. I'd resurrect to come back and fight them. This resets every time you rest at what essentially was the game bonfire. Or you could get more resurrections by killing people a lot. I think I maybe got more than one resurrection once. Maybe once.
By killing people, is it like you kill a specially marked target and you get another res, or it's just like building up a lot of kills?
You have like a little tiny like meter thing you could kind of see at the bottom. It's like a little pink orb you can kind of see like filling up.
Sure.
When you die, also, whatever XP you have, you lose half of it, and you lose half of your money, and that's it. It's gone.
Anytime you die at all?
Yes.
Even if you res?
Yes.
Whoa.
Oh wait, maybe no. Not when you res. I think you still keep it. I have
Permadeath. Okay.
I have a quote because I have it exactly written down what the game says when you die. Experience points towards the next skill point and current sen, which is money, are halved upon death. There are no means to escape this loss. However, through the grace of the gods or Buddha, it may not be impossible. So
What a From Software description that is.
very From Software.
Find
thing
some
to say.
kind of
Also,
item
wait,
or pray
so-
somewhere or something.
References to Buddha and stuff. So does this take place in like
Sengoku-
our
it's
reality?
Sengoku, Japan.
Oh wow.
era.
Okay.
Yeah. So also
DuckTales going on.
throughout the throughout the world, there's a lot of NPCs, a lot more people out in this world I ran into, more like
That
than
you can
I
talk
recall.
to?
Yes.
Cool.
So not all of them have like a huge story or anything like that. For instance, I found like a dying samurai, and he like kind of gave me hints of where locations like a new ninja tool I could use was, or something like that. I ran into a thief, like trying to rob something, telling me about where there's new stuff is. One of the areas I ran into a jar, and there was a hand that came out of the jar.
Yes,
And
great.
he wanted me to give him like fish scales
Snugly. Okay.
to trade items with him. And you could get specific items by giving him these scales that you find throughout the world. I also found one throughout my entire time.
Wow. Did he sound like a crow?
No, he was just like a really like. So he was like the hand from Skyward's or Majora's Mask that wanted toilet paper. It was like that.
Were there any great creepy laughs?
Good question.
Great question.
So all the VO I played was in Japanese, Hubert.
Okay.
So, and I think the VO was
Hubert.
very good from what I've played.
Heck yeah.
I can't remember necessarily if there's a creepy laugh, but there is definitely your typical suspicious characters, I would say,
Okay.
to some extent.
Great.
Yeah, there wasn't some like Lautrec laugh or anything like that, but I was like, okay.
Were there any places where you saw NPCs that were like village-like?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, I think of Bloodborne when you find NPCs, they're in like a back alley next to some boxes or something.
Oh,
where
yeah.
they're like hub type areas, maybe not necessarily
well, there
a hub,
is
but
the hub.
yeah.
And there are NPCs there. Maybe more will make their way there as the game goes on. I don't know. Really interesting one is I found some old crazy like senile woman.
Just
She
like
was
living in
talking
a house or
like,
something?
She was talking about her son or something like that she hadn't seen in a while, or they may be dead. She gave me these 2 bells that were items that it's like, hey, take these to this specific location, which was the shrine that you go to, that was your hub for something. And near her, there was like a guy essentially dying, and it turned out to be her son or something like that. So there are like brief story things connected like that.
Nice.
Also, when I got these bells and I took them, I traveled back in time. There's time travel, by the way.
What?
I traveled back in time to a different era,
What?
to like a village essentially getting raided by bandits at night. It was on fire, everything like that. There was water. You could swim in the water. If you
Cool.
want.
So I'm super pumped for the medieval Dark Souls style flashback. That'll be
You're
awesome.
gonna travel to
Yeah.
Bloodborne too?
Yeah.
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 I don't know if I think this might be
entirely
all in
within this
Japan,
game.
but yes, there was. You travel like essentially back in time. There's like an NPC you talk to, and he's like dying, and kind of gives you. Because your character talks in this game, by the way, who you are.
what?
He's called like Wolf. Everyone calls him Wolf. He actually has a voice. He's not.
Sekiro
You don't
means
make your
wolf,
character.
if I-
Yes.
Lone wolf.
You don't make a character. You are a specific character with VO and everything like that. So he talks with the characters and stuff like that. When I was at this place, there's bandits. So it was essentially like a village kind of under raid. It was like on fire and everything like that, with different sections that I could explore this town kind of different ways. I was not forced to go one way necessarily through this. I could come from different approaches. I could jump and grab a wall, climb up, go through the gates, fight these guys, swim through an area, maybe something like that. But this game has bosses, as you might expect. These boss, like a real boss, insanely nuts from what I fought. So I eventually made my way through this village, and it's burning, and there's guards everywhere, just guys. There's this huge guy who, he was in one of the trailers too, just like this huge guy with a big sword. He's surrounded by dudes. And there's this one samurai kind of like looking at them from the distance, and I talked to this guy. Then he attacks this boss. And he just goes in, and I was like, oh my God, I guess we're doing this right now.
I guess we're doing this.
And we just got destroyed. I got annihilated. I was like, whoa, dude, I'm dead. I'm like, when I played this, I was like, I gotta like approach these scenarios different than what I'm used to from a Souls game. Like, I gotta really think differently about how I'm gonna handle this situation, which is exciting to me.
Yeah. That maybe this is a better question for at the end, but like, this is my main. The thing that both excites and worries me is that it sounds so different, but does it have the same kind of magic? Does it still feel like a From Software game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it's not like, I mean, I liked Neo, but it's not like.
No, it's not like Neo.
Okay.
There's no like stances or anything like that.
Sure. I mean, I liked that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but it's different. It feels like a From Software game still, but it's definitely not Dark Souls.
Yeah.
But like, you see the DNA there. Like,
sure.
You see sprinkles of it. You're like, oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that guy killed me, so I was like, all right, I got this other way I can go now. Because I had multiple paths, like 2 ways I could go fairly early on in the game. So I was like, all right, I'll go the other way. And that was by the power bomb guy. After I killed the power bomb guy, I was going through an area. There's a giant snake. Humongous.
Yeah, so
Ian,
that
you
in
kind
the
of saw it.
Yeah.
It looked different this time, though, and the section
really?
was much longer than what we saw.
You have to like sneak around it and stuff?
Yeah, so there's essentially a giant snake, and you got to play like a cat and mouse game with this snake. You got to hide through the grass. You got to kind of sneak, and you don't want it to find you. By traversing through the environment, there's like kind of like platforming, kind of like grappling hook. It's not like Mario Bros, but you're going to be doing grappling hook to like get over gaps and stuff like that. And you can jump, and of course. When I was sneaking through, there's this like a little cart I hid in. And the snake's eye comes down like right next to you, like Godzilla, Jurassic Park style, dude. And there was like a prompt, like the visual like death blow prompt popped on his eye. And I stabbed him like in the eye, some crazy God of War cinematic stab. Snake's going bananas, like slamming around and stuff. And I then had to bail the hell out of there or I would have got destroyed. By this time, it was near the end of the demo, and one of the From Software guys comes up to me and he goes, oh, you got past the snake. He's like, no one's made it this far yet. And I was like, oh, okay, God. He's like, because I was about to stop because it was ending. And he's like, hey, why don't you go a little further? There's a boss that no one's fought yet. And I was like, okay, let's go. So I go through this like castle kind of thing. Then I end up in this big open like courtyard. It's like a dude on a horse, like straight out of Ninja Gaiden boss fight.
Oh, God. Flashbacks.
This guy was a maniac.
Oh, God.
This guy, like, destroyed me.
I'm already sweating from this guy.
Riding on his
I'm already
horse, huge,
sweating.
swinging this huge like, weapon around, man. I was just, like, freaked out. And I got murdered. And I was like, that was great. That was awesome.
That's my crunch. Death.
Yeah. Like,
This almost sounds more like God of War than Souls. Almost.
I can kind of see that. I don't know. It's very Souls still.
Sure, okay.
I will say this is the most exhilaration I felt in any Souls game. I mean, like From Software game and combat strictly, where I was nervous most of the time. Because we've played through all the Souls games. When you play through them, you're like, you feel like kind of like a vet. Yeah. You're like, okay, I got like a great idea of how this is gonna go. Bloodborne kind of changed things a little. But you adapt pretty quickly.
Yeah. The rhythm of it and like knowing you can grind up.
But that's one of the most exciting things though is that sense of, oh man, I need to figure this out all over again.
Yes.
Because that's where the magic is.
Yes.
When you don't have that methodology that you can apply to the same way that you could. Like even Dark Souls 3, as much as I enjoyed that game, it was like, okay, like I understand the general swings here. Yeah, that's cool. Whereas like so much of this sounds very foreign, but in an exciting way, in a way that still seems like Souls-like, where it's like, oh, I have to pay attention. I'll be rewarded that. I have to pay attention and react and think about what I'm bringing into battle. Like all of those elements, I think, are very fundamental to what the series is.
And from my experience anyway, Brad, I don't know if this was I think you had similar, but like you have to kind of, if you're a Souls veteran, you have to kind of unlearn Souls to play this. Because
you got to play it a bit different.
You got to play it pretty differently.
I don't know if I talked about stealth attacks, did I? I might have skipped over that on accident.
I want to know about the stealth attacks.
Stealth is a big part of this game. It's not a stealth game like I said before, but you can incorporate it. So essentially you could sneak up, you could kill guys and one-shot them, stuff like that. Like I jumped off a roof and stabbed some dude and killed him immediately. I snuck up through a bush, like eviscerated some guy.
Real quick, you mentioned jumping off of a roof and stabbing a guy with your grappling hook. Is that something that you could use in your way of navigating levels where it's like, okay, I know these people are like patrolling this alleyway below. I can go above them and get an advantage. Okay,
Absolutely.
That's great.
One cool thing about this game that I also forgot to bring up is that you can eavesdrop on enemies now.
Oh, what?
So there is some enemies, there's opportunities where you can listen into them and you can get like hints about what's going on in this area, where there's might be some nice treasure, something like that, giving you context about everything. Or you can just kill them if you want. You don't have to listen. But it just gives you like a nice little, like a way to learn more about this world without necessarily just walking up to an enemy and talking to them.
It's like tactical Souls action.
Pretty much, like that's how I learned about like a lot of weaknesses of enemies. Like they're talking about this specific thing's weak to this, or like because some of these guards like don't know what they're doing there and stuff like that. Like for the big guy, I heard them talking about it. He's like afraid of fire. And I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe the fire will work on him.
Nice.
You're like, oh, okay, cool.
How many times did you think about Tenchu?
A lot. Because I mean, it's not Tenchu, but like I just get kind of vibes like jumping off a roof and stabbing someone. I had to definitely get used to like the jumping off something and killing someone immediately, because you know you could do a one shot when like there's like a red circle that kind of goes over them. So you jump off, like for instance the roof, then you see that circle, then you hit the button. I sometimes like I fumbled, like I fell off a thing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh god. Then I
did that a couple of times.
I was trying to sneak up on a dude, and I dropped down, like landed on like a thing of wood and logs, and made all the sound. And he was like, "Woo!" And I was like, oh dude. But I came away from this game very excited. Like I need to play more of this game. That's how I was thinking about. I was thinking about after I played it, when I went home, when I was going to sleep. I was thinking about this game. I was very excited. It has a lot of stuff we love, but it feels a little bit different. I'm looking forward to this game. I hope all you are gonna enjoy it as much as I have so far. We'll see
Stoked.
how the quality progresses.
Yeah, it's interesting, Brad, because I feel like this conversation has done two things for me, where I feel like before this talk, I had a very rough idea of what Sekiro was, and I think you make a lot of assumptions just being so close to Souls and Bloodborne and playing those games for so many years, and it's nice because I feel like not only have you given me a better idea, but you've also kind of made my mind run wild with things that I didn't even expect. I was not expecting to have this conversation and have you say the words time travel. So that's really cool. And yeah, I think just overall it makes me a lot more excited.
One more bomb, if a lot of people didn't know about this, 'cause it might not be out there so much. There's a penalty for death besides necessarily losing your XP and your money.
Oh no.
So there is like the curse of like the dragon, kind of something along those lines, of what it's called when you die a lot. So this affects your young lord in some way. I don't know all the answers about this, but when I died a lot, something popped up saying like something was going down. Like something's going on, like a world tendency kind of thing.
World tendency, dude.
Kind of like that. I believe one of the NPCs...
It's back.
Yeah,
in the
world tendency
World
redemption,
tendency.
dude.
One of the NPCs in
They're
my
trying it again.
hub, I believe, was like started coughing after this, something like that.
God.
It was like, I think they like described it as like a disease or a plague or something like that.
You finish the game, you overcome this great trial,
And you got
but
the
because
bad
you
ending.
died so much,
Yeah.
everyone dies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, sorry, all the NPCs in my game.
Yeah.
But we'll all beat it like
But
4
yeah,
times.
I mean, I don't have a clear grasp on all the systems because they wouldn't give like straight answers for a lot of the stuff. So they're
Nor
like,
should
they're
they.
like, why don't you like experiment and kind of find out what it is? So I was like, okay. I didn't have a time to spend so much time with like a specific system to figure it out all the way because I was trying to see as much as I could. But the idea of like even more high stakes is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to see how it turns out. Game comes out March 22nd, which is pretty close.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for Sekiro. I'm hyped. I hope they're all hyped. Hope you're all at home hyped, or you learned a bit more about the game, because I know it's a very confusing game upon first inspection. We're still figuring stuff out, but yeah. Thanks for being here, guys. It's
Thank you,
awesome
Brad.
talking to you guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.